all our viewers on social media, wherever you may be at this time of the day or the weekend, whether you are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or whatever you may be watching this edition of Nightline Liberia. It's also broadcast simultaneously on number of 99.9 and other frequencies around the country. I want to take this moment to also welcome our viewers, our panelists, and also the guests who will be joining us 15 minutes from this point of the broadcast. Not forgetting our valuable and panelists, some of Liberia's brightest and best in the business of broadcast. Let me begin again to roll on with a quote. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. In the voice of our president, His Excellency Joseph Yiban Boakai, let's think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia together. On behalf of the team, I want to say my name is D. Flo Flemo II, and I welcome all of you to this edition of Nightline Liberia. So let's go first and welcome our viewers to take some of the comments from our viewers at this point of the discussion. So let's go to the screen. Producer. Okay, folks, since of course we have just started, those of you who are joining us on 99.9 and across on other frequency across the country, I want to say welcome to Nightline Liberia and to our panelists as well. Tonight's edition will focus on the Liberia National Police and nothing else. And our panelists, of course, will take the moment and the opportunity to run the show while I sit back and monitor the discussion. On behalf of, and including my team here, Fabian Kuya is also with me here in studio. So folks, let me go straight and welcome our panelists. Let's begin with Deputy Director for Deputy Director for Administration, Thomas Guo. Thomas, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Now you are blowing my cover, but I'm good and looking forward to having a wonderful time.
Nice to see you. You look already set to go, waiting for the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police to come in so that you can give you some tough questions, right?
Right, exactly.
You're a little bit low. Can you hear me, Thomas, loud and clear?
Yes, I got you.
Thomas, can you hear me?
Yes. Do you hear me?
Okay, Thomas is having. I got you. Thank you. Let's welcome Liberia Samson. Let's welcome Samson Branto, all the way to Liberia from Philadelphia, right? Samson, are you in Philly? Samson? Samson, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Samson, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said,
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Philadelphia. A liberal is from the liberal state of California. No, good liberal. I'm not one of those northern liberal that you cannot count on. I'm a liberal that you can depend on.
JB Liberal Samson Branto there. Okay, let's welcome the only female, Markoto Jara Blessing. What state are you joining us from?
Yeah, hi to everyone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, hi to everyone. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me? We can hear you loud and clear enough. Go ahead.
Okay, right now I'm speaking to you from the state of New Jersey. And again, my name is Koto Jalabarayan from New Jersey. Again, my name is Koto Jalabarayan from New Jersey.
Okay, thank you. Let's now go to Vendela Patrick's. You know, Patrick, I like to call it in the French way. Patrick's.
No, it's Patrick's.
Okay, Patrick.
It's Patrick's.
Patrick, go ahead. Welcome.
A quick observation. I realized that the people in the US, there is a little bit time different when they talk.
Yes.
So we have to give them some time, like maybe 30 seconds, so that they can go through. But it's good to be here. I see my big brother, Dr. Lasatani, just walking. Thank you. D-Flow and Thomas Goa and my big brother, Mr. Tu, he says he's not living in Philadelphia. I know he has a description of Philadelphia, but I'll reserve that comment. He's in the balling city of California. It's good to say, it's good to be here with you also. And Balayan, Madam Balayan, it's also good to see you here. And we are happy to be here tonight. And to see my own big brother also, Dr. Tenny studio, that's good. Welcome. Let me welcome you.
Thank you, Vendela Patrick there. And let's welcome Dr. Lester Tenny. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
When you joined my studio for the first time, Doctor. Why you always like to sit down around the pool, sit down around your building, and then you're doing all that shaking up thing? But thanks for you joining us tonight, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
It's always a pleasure. So I've been informed by the Liberia National Police that the director will be joining us in 15 minutes. I'm not sure whether he's already. Yeah, the guest is already here. Please come and bring on your control. So the director is right on time here. And of course, my job is pretty easy. But before I leave you guys to focus on my next task on hand here is to welcome no other person than the Director, Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Honorable Gregory Comer. Inspector Comer, good evening to you, boss.
Good evening to all.
Inspector, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yeah, we hear him.
Go ahead.
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, boss. Go ahead, Inspector.
Good evening. I'm saying good evening.
Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Inspector General. We can hear you.
Yes, but you just spoke to me, and I'm saying good
Can you hear me?
to talk?
He's hearing you. He simply wants to just say good evening, and then we move forward.
Okay, okay. Good evening to you. So, folks, I want to say welcome for those of you joining us. This is Nightline Liberia. My name is D-Flow from the house is choked tonight because we have the Inspector General, the only man who speaks to the highest level of the Liberia National Police, the man who gave it the baton by His Excellency Joseph Yemabuakai to direct and propagate towards the Liberia National Police. Before we begin the show, let's welcome Cesar Guia. Guia, good evening to you.
Good evening, D-Flow, and good evening to everybody on the panel tonight.
Guia, good evening.
Good evening, D-Flow, and good evening to everybody on the panel.
Thank you, ladies. Welcome, friends. Those of you joining us in Radio Land, welcome to Nightline Liberia. Again, we are here to discuss. We have was no other person other than the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police. So, folks, our panelists will take their moment to discuss, ask the tough question, the hard questions to the Director of Liberia National Police. If they have recommendations, they will also be allowed to do so. Let's see where we go from there. Director, let me start off with you. You have perhaps the biggest task so far in this revolution, in this movement to transform the Liberia National Police. Where are we with the Liberia National Police?
Well, the Liberia National Police is at a crossroad right now. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of the officers and members of the Liberia National Police for the level of commitment to service and all that they continue to do on a daily basis to enhance law enforcement service delivery and try to just improve the operational capacity of the Liberia National Police. We still have a lot to do. We still have a far way to go, but our critical success factor is the commitment shown in the midst of all of the challenges that the officers continue to show in their dedication, the passion to service. We need a lot of training in-house. We need to help to the general public to understand our role. So it's education on the part of the public and training for the officers in the service. And just to cultivate that philosophy of community-oriented policing is portraying democratic value and strengthening strong ties with the local communities that we're serving.
Thank you, Honorable Inspector. Could you be a little bit audible for our listeners? You are coming a little bit very low. But folks, it's now open to you, the panelists. We are here to serve our country. Let's be respectful, ask the tough questions, and make recommendations to better the Liberia National Police, if you have any. So let's right now go to our panelists. Let's begin with the only female in the house, Markoto Blessing. The Liberia National Police Inspector General is here. Your question, if you have one. Let's begin with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to you for being here among the top guys. And thanks to our IG. My question to the IG is, I have been hearing about some investigations that he will be opening that have been pending. And I think these are some of the things that we, voted for our President Joseph Yuma Boakai, to make sure that, these investigations are being conducted and come to a closure. My question is to the IG. I heard that he will be opening the investigation on the auditors, the 4 auditors. That is Emmanuel Yeswad, Abba Peters, Gifty Lama, and John Babuto. How far is this case right now, as he is coming to open up on this case?
Inspector, did you get her question?
Thank you very much.
Did you hear her?
This question is the center of discussion in the media right now, so I think we should just hit it on and not just put it behind us, but I know it's going to keep coming in different form and fashion. So I will try to answer your question. We established a cold case unit because we realized that there's low trust and confidence in the law enforcement bodies. The police, being that graphic representation of the state authority, has taken its fair share of prolonged bad governance. As a result, people do not trust the police. There's lack of legitimacy with the local communities. So as part of our efforts to build trust and restore legitimacy, we're looking at the entire procedural justice process to cover everything that has to do with the community's perception, with what the public believe the police has done wrong, and how can we correct it to ensure that they start to regain that lost trust or the non-existent trust in some cases. So the effort is basically to look at things that the people who pay us have been concerned about. Over the years, these cases, people believe that they were not properly investigated, and in some cases, they were just they believe that it was just put aside. So the cold case unit was set up. We brought in seasoned investigators, not because we think the previous investigators did not do a good job, but because the public continues to complain that these things were not properly, they believe that it wasn't properly investigated, just to give it a second eye. I can tell you the investigation with the missing boys. We basically went further in depth with that investigation and concur with the previous findings. It's just that for us, we went one step further and did not declare all 3 of the boys dead, but rather 2 of them to be missing in accordance with the law, because the law says in 7 years, if you do not communicate with that person, then they're presumed dead. So until we can reach that point, those 2 boys are presumed missing, and the other one that was verified by eyewitnesses has been declared dead. So basically, in that case, we agreed with the investigation that was conducted. Now we move on to that of the auditors, to include Mr. Yuswa and all of the other suspicious deaths, and the arm issue that was concluded. In that particular issue, we established that there was absolutely no state actor involved in that particular importation of the weapon. We did dismiss 2 officers and forwarded them to court, but it was not for their involvement in the import and distribution of those lethal weapons, but rather the conduct of the search and seizure, where they went and breached their ethics and took away items that were not a part of the case, that belonged to the individual, basically raided the home of the individual during the search and seizure. So with that, we were able to retrieve all of the weapons, account for them. So contrary to what the public believed, that the weapons that were brought in all over, no, they've all been retrieved, and no state actors involved. 3 persons charged, and 5 persons charged, 2 officers and 3 civilians. So that brings it to a close. And now the Mr. Yuswa issue, we have been talking to a lot of people who we believe had some connection to Mr. Yuswa on the day of his death, and those who were placed at different areas along the occurrence of that particular event, from the house to the hospital, everyone in between there. As a matter of fact, we went back to the last place we sat. All of those who were there within, some of the people in the court, they came in willingly, just out of awe. And they spoke to us, they gave us statements, written statements. And those who could not reach by phone, or those who refused to come by phone, we extended letters to them. Those who could not be reached as well immediately, we also did letters for them. And those people were named today, and it's our hope that they will cooperate with the investigation, that we do not have to take any further legal action to bring them. This is not a witch hunt. This is about bringing a closure to this matter, restoring the organization's trust, and giving justice to the family. Justice doesn't mean that someone is guilty. Justice in this case encompasses the logical conclusion of the investigation and subsequent action.
Okay, let's now we'll take one from the United States, and then we come back to the Republic of Liberia. Vendela Patrick.
Yes, I listened to the RG. Thank you, RG, for the brilliant analysis and giving your own input with respect to the question asked by our dear sister in the United States. I have 2 concerns. One, if you were to speak of the foes of the Liberia National Police, do you have a specific number of active police officers, well equipped? You know, as a country, we want to know the force of the Liberia National Police. I honor your leadership, whether there has been additional number that has been added, or prior to taking over as Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, what was the total number of the police officers? My second question has to do with
Go ahead. It's too long.
My second question has to do with this issue of the indictment. I understand the Liberia National Police is reaching out or has reached out to individual of interest with reference to the death of the former head of the National Audit Secretariat, Batten Yiswa. And I look at some names, but a few years ago, a lady by the name of Lila Kekula appeared on Spoon FM and gave a comprehensive narrative of what transpired that night. Is she also someone of interest? I stand to be corrected, but I did not see her name mentioned. And what can you assure? How are you intending to proceed? Should Liberian trust you? Is it going to be business as usual? Are you convinced that after these individuals are indicted, as you just outlined, that this is not an indication that a proper investigation was not done, but you believe you need to go one step beyond that? Can we be assured as Liberians that justice will prevail and that this will not proceed as business as usual? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. You asked a question. So first thing, I'm here tonight because of my commitment to service and my desire to communicate with the public as often as possible. But I'm actually in between events. I'm attending the Egyptian National Day, so I had to just step outside and take this call in a quiet space. So I'm not in my office. I do not have all my resource materials with me. I'm just being accommodated in a space out here to have this conversation. So, and I mean, detailed information that may be required, I may not have it on hand at the moment, but at least I can answer most of the questions that you're concerned about. As it relates to the size of the police service, we have a little over 5,000 officers. Are they well equipped? No. Do we need to be further equipped and more trained? Yes. So there is still a capacity gap, a very serious capacity gap that has to be closed. It is our hope that this year we will have opportunities to do more training, in-service training, and we're looking forward to government improving our logistical capacity. That is with our non-lethal and other logistics to make it work easy. So there is a very serious need. You also asked about Lila, who is a person of interest to this investigation. There were people whose names were not called, and those people have been cooperating. They have been speaking with the officers. Some of those who were mentioned today, we only mentioned those who we wrote. And even some of the people who we wrote that were mentioned today have already begun talking to the officers. Lila has spoken to the investigators. They will continue the conversation. And I believe she is quite cooperative. I haven't gotten any sign from my investigators that she has refused to speak with them. One of the people who were with Batten that night happens to be my brother. He was one of the first person that was called because he's a close friend, and he was at the Calabash with Batten the night that he passed. So he was invited to police. He was questioned. He gave a statement as well. So those are people who were not mentioned in the press conference because we didn't need to write them, and they were already cooperating with the investigation. So we will be very, very honest. We will be transparent. We'll be accountable to the Liberian people. As the investigation progresses, we will continue to give regular updates as to the findings so that we can bring a closure to this matter. There's going to be no one who we are able to place on that night from the evening that he left his office to the period where he was taken to the hospital. Everyone within there happen to be some of some interest to the investigation. And let's make something clear here. Being an interest to the investigation does not mean that you are guilty. It means that you have information that could assist the investigation. Until established otherwise, you're not a criminal. We're asking that you cooperate and give us your support. Most of the people mentioned knew Baten Yusuf personally, so they should be willing and ready to come to support the investigation to bring closure for the family of their friend. If you call him your friend and his family is weeping over something that, I mean, they have no understanding, no closure to, the least you can do for your friend is to come forward to assist the investigation. And that's just what it is. So let me make it clear. These people are not criminals. We're not saying that they're part of the murder of Baten Yusuf. We're just saying that, come and help us. You are there. You are somewhere along the line. Just say what you know. And then we can move on with the investigation from there. Thank you. Mr. Patrick, do I answer your questions?
Thank you.
This is off. Okay.
Do I answer your questions?
Yes, very well.
Okay, let's now go to the Liberal there, Samsinto Brown. Liberal Samsinto Brown.
Yeah, that's the name, the Liberal.
Something, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
The Liberal. Go ahead, the Liberal.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. Go ahead. You have a question.
Okay,
You have a question.
I'm not sure if the IG is on. I think he's off. Okay. So do you still want me to go
He's
ahead?
on. The IG is on. He's just trying. I think he's doing something in the back, but he's on. I can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Go ahead. The IG can hear
I'm
you.
on and I'm
He's on.
listening very carefully. I'm just multitasking, so I had to. Yeah, but I'm right here.
Thank you. First thing I want to make clear, you as an IG, I have behind me here the Liberian flag. I have no position. I am not an official of the government of the Republic of Liberia. I just have the flag. I just have the flag because the flag days is coming very shortly, and that's what I have the flag on there. But it does not mean that I'm some sort of a flag. No, I have nothing. I
It
just
speaks to your patriotism, sir.
Yes.
You are a patriotic Liberian.
We say here, qui run away. So tonight I'm running away. But thank you, IG. We appreciate it. I wish all of your colleagues in this government will avail themselves for people to have these kinds of conversations, because there's nothing secret you people are doing. And some of us feel really, really have sympathies for you guys that are in that place trying to straighten our country up. And we really, really do appreciate it. Now, my line of questioning here tonight is going to be a little bit different. So whenever that I come on, I will be talking to you strictly based on the horizontal infrastructure. I might provide some vertical infrastructure as well, but I want to find out from you. My first question is, what is your relationship as a top person at the police department? What is your relationship with Public Work Ministry and Transport Ministry? That's one question. Another question that I have, and as time goes on, whenever it's my time, this is the line of questioning. I trust the police investigators. Whatever you guys are doing over there, I trust that you will find a correct resolution to whatever is happening in our country. But my line of questioning tonight is going to be on infrastructure. Now, and then the second question, as I stated, why is it that the Liberian government, and in fact, let me do this. Let me give you a short one. Do you guys have a engineer at the police department, civil engineer or roadway engineer or traffic engineer at the police department? Thank you.
The relationship with the Ministry of Public Work and
Go ahead, Honorable.
The relationship with the Ministry of Public Work and data. and that of the Ministry of Transport. I think we do have a very cordial working relationship. We speak quite often.
That of the Ministry of Transport.
We even do have a memorandum of understanding for mutual support that was signed between the Monrovia City Corporation, the Lagro Water and Sewer Corporation, and the Painesville City Corporation, and that of the Ministry of Public Works. So we provide mutual support for each other as we continue our developmental goals. So when the Public Works working, we're there to provide support. When they're doing zoning activities, we're there to provide support if they're obstructed, and even on the road to control traffic when they're doing their regular work as well. We do hold meetings at the executive level and even at the technical level. The deputy for operations and the technical level people, they do talk. So there is a serious collaboration going on. The Ministry of Transport is basically the same. We do talk, and we're trying to address some of the issues that we have, some of the gaps that we've seen within the ministry and law enforcement.
Okay, let's not go to Lester Zumati.
And then I think you asked if we have civil engineers in the police.
I can say that on the video. Let's go to Lester.
We do not have civil engineers there. We leave the engineering component to Public Works. That's why we're partnering with them, because they have that expertise. So we rely solely on the Ministry of Public Works when it comes to the engineering component of things.
Okay, the Honorable Inspector General will now go to Lester Zumati Tani for his question.
Good evening, Greg. Let me state for the record that Inspector General Gregory Coleman is one of the finest when it comes to law enforcement. I happen to share at least a month with him, interacting on several different corridors. So I have no doubt in the capability of Gregory Coleman. Gregory has opened a very interesting case. As a matter of fact, Baten Yiswa was my classmate at the university. We all were classmates at the university. The late Inez, Matthew Inez, we all were classmates at the university. Gifty Lamar was my student at Stella Marie's. So all of these deceased individuals are of relevance to my thinking because they, at some point in time, share a space with me. Well, you see the case with Baten. The reason why I believe Gregory decided to open the case was the public perception. The public perception. But every one of us who knew Baten visited his home. We all drank in his room. Baten was a very social guy. The space that we understand Baten allegedly fell from, we all knew the space because it was the space that we used to pack our, you had one big cooler. It looked like a casket that we used to put our beer in. And that place was always packed. So unfortunately, when we heard that Baten came home drunk and he had to fall from that very, very corridor, it was very suspicious because every one of us who used to go to Baten house knew that place was always occupied with things. So how can a drunken man come home drunk, remove all the crate only to see him falling? I don't want to raise any suspicion that something went wrong, but it just required a second eye opening that he could have fallen, yes, but from that position, that was where I created a red line that it was highly suspicious because D-Flow, where they say he fell from.
I know, right?
you had the beer crate,
Yes.
the stout crate,
Yes.
that big cooler.
And the shot, very short from the
No, I'm not looking at the distance.
the
but
distance. Okay.
And that place is so narrow because they were all used to put the bottles.
Okay.
How can someone who was under the influence of alcohol
Tell
at
me.
Calabar come home?
Tell me.
Before he could fall, you have to remove all the things. So it just didn't make sense.
Okay.
It just didn't make sense. Ain't no.
And that's why the RG has decided that this was something is not right. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's the same thing with Matthew Innes.
Mhm.
There's a report in the police headquarters
Mhm.
where the police came on record to say that Matthew Innes was hit by an old taxi at 12 o'clock. Matthew was a conservative guy. We all knew him as a non-talking guy on AU campus.
Yes.
How come this guy decided to walk 12 o'clock in the night?
Mhm.
Was hit by, in fact, the police even, that's why I got annoyed with what his name, the former IG, that, but if you even knew the car that hit him as an old taxi,
Yes.
how come you couldn't arrest the car? You said the car left.
I know, right?
It just didn't make sense.
Yes. So with all of that you have said, what is the question?
My question, my
Director.
question has to do with
Please.
the issue of reasonable doubt.
Mhm.
You know, because the investigation will lead you somewhere.
Mhm.
But the law deals with reasonable doubt. The defendant, whoever they may be, will rely on reasonable doubt just from a careless mistake. Just from a careless mistake. I can only hope that before you begin the process of prosecution, if the case calls for prosecution, you should have the best, because we just don't want a case to be watered down into not convicted. We want the truth. We want the facts. And we want the police, at least for the first time in this country history, to win a case of suspicion so that the public can sleep in peace to say, yes, Honor IG Gregory Coleman, the death of so and so person gave rise to conviction, or the death of so and so person didn't give rise to conviction. We want that case to be watertight so that there will not be reasonable doubt where anyone involved in the death of any of those people will walk free.
Okay, let's take this conversation. That was not a question, it was just a comment. I was looking for more question, but let's go to Sisseguya. Sisseguya, all the way there. Are you in Minneapolis? You stay in Minneapolis?
Sir,
Yeah.
before Cisse comes in and I lose my chain of thought, I would just want to say thanks to Lester for the kind words and reassure him that this is exactly what we're doing. It's just to give it a second eye. We serve the public. We're paid by their taxes. If they do have concerns, we must answer it. And this, when we speak about bringing service alive, it's about speaking to your clients, hearing what they want, what they need, and targeting your effort towards the needs of your client. This is a business, it's a service-oriented business, and these people are paying us. And they're saying that what you did, I mean, we have questions about it. It's only fair enough for us to answer them. I believe in the integrity of the Liberia National Police. That has been my mother organization. I would never, ever do anything to bring that institution into public disrepute. Our action is meant to improve the integrity of our beloved institution and to answer to the people that we serve, to give justice to them. And justice is giving them the answers as it relates to the investigation. Thank you.
Thank you. Sisseguya, take it away. What's your question? Where do we go from there?
All right, thank you.
What's the question here? We have any question for the Inspector General?
Oh yeah, thank you so
This
much.
this is for you people to moderate the show tonight.
Yeah. So IG Coleman, appreciate you for showing up, and you know, I know you're busy, man, and thanks for taking the time to answer some questions here. Like Samson told, my focus is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be on education and drug related crimes that affect our students. By the way, I like your quote, and I'm going to begin with that to ask my question. Your quote is, quote, "We serve the public. We are paid by their taxes. So we want to center the public." My question to you is going to be, the first two is going to be about current strategies and collaboration and prevention and education. My first question is there a collaboration? Has there been collaboration, or is there a thought about having a collaboration between the Ministry of Education, the Liberian National Police, and the LDEA in creating safer school environments? That's the first piece, about safer school environments, drug-free zones, if you will. It can be 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Are there plans around there? Number 2 is about prevention and education. We cannot imprison our way out of the drug problem in Liberia. We can't put everybody in jail for it. So my question to you is, are there plans to implement school-based programs that educate students about the consequences of drug use and criminal behavior? And as I'm talking to you about that, because I know you've been in the US, I'm thinking, for example, about something that looks like the DARE program, right? The Drug Abuse Resistant Program, where police officers and LDEA officers and teachers are trained on how do we educate our young people. And I'm particularly concerned about our students in the elementary schools. How do we ensure that we are teaching them, we're educating them on the effects of drug use, and how are we creating safer school environments so that we are not continuously providing, we are not expanding on the demand side of drug use, that we are cutting down on the demand side as you fight to put in jail people who are bringing in these substances in our country.
So thanks a million. I think your question is aligned to our vision. It is one of importance. Your question goes to the root of the matter because it concerns the protection of the future of this country. And with that, I'm greatly concerned. The passion is deep because we want to see the best leaders come up from among the young people. This generation, I believe that there's a serious challenge of success with us. The only hope that this nation has got is the investment that we're going to put into the younger ones that you're referencing today. And as we speak, they're under attack. They're highly endangered to the exposure of these things, one, because of the lack of education. So that question of collaboration with the Ministry of Education, yes, I've reached out to the minister. We have not had the time to sit down, but I can tell you, I can walk few steps backwards before coming back to law enforcement. For a bit, I believe I was done with law enforcement, so I decided to find a new pathway of impacting society. And I decided to move my focus on to education because I couldn't think of a better way outside of law enforcement to impact society, to institute real change besides going to education. So I started to look at programs to do my master's and advance a PhD in education. If I open my mail to you, you'll see multiple exchanges with different schools, Harvard Graduate School, and different programs and stuff looking into education. So I believe that it is the most impactful way outside of what we do because law enforcement is a whole different level. I may be biased, but yeah, education is definitely the key. So I even though I haven't spoken to the Minister of Education, but in those times of thinking about it outside of law enforcement, we develop a program called the Alert Liberia, advancing learning through renewable energy and technology, something like that. And that the focus on that was to address exactly what you're speaking about, but using technology and renewable energy as a means of sustaining that particular project. As part of our community policing initiatives, we're looking at strategically the entry point into the community. We're going to be using the schools because it starts with the children. The children move on to the parents, and the parents extend it to the larger community who has got no connections to the school. So yes, we do have plans of engaging the school, and in that engagement, we don't have gun violence here. When I worked with the 501c3 in the US, our focus was on gun violence and stuff in the schools. But what is our problem here? What is the greatest threat? Is the drug issue. So the police, we will focus on a lot of other things. We're not directly into drug enforcement, but I believe the educational component of it, using our community policing platform to get people enlightened to the danger that's associated with it through the schools and then to the larger community, is something that is definitely tied to our 5-year strategic plan. And as we roll it out, you will definitely see that engagement move from county to county. The assessment is ongoing. We have a team going to the Southeast within the next week. That will be led by the Chief of Community Policing, Mr. Ford. And his focus there, even though we're going to be looking at the Community Watch Forum, but he's also instructed to engage the youth and use the schools as entry level for our conversation. So to answer your question, yes, it is our intention to do drug education for children and for parents as well. Because the thing is, the parents, even the parents, we just assume that people should know that it is dangerous. But the truth of the matter is, people are not educated to the danger of this. They know that the children will come home, they will be dragging around. But if parents were actually informed of the danger that's associated with this thing medically, psychologically, and the impact it has to the overall output as citizens, they would definitely change their stance on it. Over the last few days, we've been engaging raiding criminal hideouts, which coincidentally turns out to be mostly drug-infested ghettos. And it's sad to just see scores of children. I mean, the age range from 12 to 17 years old. I mean, that's the kind of babies you find in there that their lives are just being destroyed on a daily basis. So the educational component of this is very important. We have made it a priority for us, and we will be engaging it as soon as our program starts. We will be reaching out to all of those who have got interest and are willing to help to facilitate some of these educational programs to just come out. And we also intend to replicate a program that we've successfully run in the U.S., and that's the Youth Advisory Board to Law Enforcement. If you look at the demographics of this country, you have a very large youthful population. So those who we're engaging more are young people. And the thing is, how can we better serve them if we're not talking to them? So we intend to set up this advisory board to bring youth on board on a monthly basis, sit with the Inspector General of Police and have an exchange so as to understand whether the service delivery is welcomed by them, is accepted by them, or what adjustments need to be made. It's the consensus building approach. It's the all of community approach that we are taking to ensure that we improve the service delivery of law enforcement in this country and make it a yes for the people. Let people for once accept this service and see it like, I went to church today, the pastor preached, and I was so happy. I gave an offering here. I went to the restaurant, I got served. And when they encounter the policeman, let them go home and have a whole different experience. That's where we're heading. That's what we're hoping for. That's how we want to protect our children against the issue of drugs. But we can't do it in the absence of that safe community. And before I close, this safe community we're talking about, the police component is just a minute portion of having that community safe. We're looking at schools. When you go to work, you want to make sure that the schools you're entrusting your children to have got the best facilities to keep them safe. Can you really go to work here in Liberia and not be worried that something's going to happen to your child in school or somewhere? That's not a safe community. The basic necessities, the hospitals, the electricity, water, these are the things that make a community safe. And those are the things that we're looking for. And we're trusting and believing this government that together we will create safe communities for our people to promote economic development and the well-being of our people, to move the people from one stage to another. The ongoing operations out there is not meant against the downtrodden. It's to put the miscreants in place, to make sure that they do not attack you when you come to the supermarket to buy, that your pocket is not picked, that you're not scammed of your money. So we're trying to make it safe. Those raids and stuff is not meant to just come against poor people. It's meant to promote safer communities. So we're aligned. We're not there. We're still a far way off, but we're moving. We're moving, and we're committed to the move. We're not there. We're still a far way off, but we're moving.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, the Honorable the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police. We are proud of the job that you people under your administration are carrying on to protect, to bring deterrence to this society. Let's now go to Thomas Gore. Thomas Gregory, the Inspector General.
Yes, good
Thomas.
evening, Honorable AG. So I have questions on the three missing boys, and then I will also be asking you about the discovery of arms and ammunition at the Free Port of Liberia. So for the three missing boys, what updates can you share regarding the investigation into the disappearance of the three boys? And have there been any significant leads or breakthroughs in the case? On the discovery of cash, can you give us details about the recent, huge cache of arms and ammunition discovered at the Freeport of Liberia?
Thomas, can you hear me?
Yeah.
They say when you come to church late, you can't raise song because maybe that song has already been sung. But we'll sing the song again for you. As it relates to the three missing boys, the cold case unit reopened the investigation. They made a couple of trips out of town around the St. Paul, other parts of Bum County, spoke with the families in Monrovia, and exhausted all available avenues as it relates to information gathering to support the investigations. What was established was the fact that the three boys did appear to the St. Paul River. It was also established that they left their motorcycle at the bank of the river, and they boarded a canoe. There were 6 on the canoe crossing the St. Paul. At some point in time, the canoe did capsize, and 3 persons were able to swim, be rescued and get to the other side, and 3 persons did not make it to the other side. Out of the 3, 1 body was discovered, and when that body was discovered, the body still had the clothes that was on it. It had the shoes that were on the feet, and the eyewitnesses on the side of the river. So there were 3 persons in the canoe along with them, and there were other people at the bank of the river who were not a part of their mission that saw them get on the canoe. The 3 persons on the canoe with them had connections to their overall operations there. They corroborated the statement of those on the other side, claiming that it was one of the guys who were in the canoe with them. However, because of their connections to a person of interest in the investigation, we just did not take their word. But their words were rather corroborated with independent bystanders who did see them get in the canoe to cross the river. So it's not like just, the investigators went and just talked to only people who were connected to the main person in the case at the time was Moses, whose mind they were going to work on. These 3, because they worked for him, we just didn't take their word. We took the word of bystanders as well. And they corroborated whatever information that they shared with the investigation. They spoke to a lot of other people who had encounters, and they verified that one of the guys who did get in the canoe was the body that was found. That body was intact. There was no parts missing from it. There was no major indication to lead us to ritualistic activities. So we ruled out any foul play from that body and related it directly to drowning. The other two were not found, and up to today, the bodies have not been discovered. Their living bodies have never been discovered to today. So the law says that, it should take up to 7 years. If you do not hear from them, if you do not speak with them, if you do not see them, then you can presume that they're dead. So we are concluding that 2 of the boys are missing and 1 has been presumed dead. 1 has been declared dead because the body has been found. And as it relates to the cache of arms, that investigation was concluded. There was absolutely no state actors in the line of operations of import and distribution. 3 civilians were charged. 2 officers were also charged, but not in connection with the movement of the arms, but rather for inappropriate acts during the search and seizure at the residence of the owner of those weapons that was brought in the country. So that's where we are with those 2 investigations. Of those weapons that was brought in the country. So that's where we are with those 2 investigations.
Inspector, are you talking in terms of the employee? Inspector, can you hear me?
Well, you went blank for a while.
Inspector?
I'm here. I can hear you.
When you talk about there was some.
I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Honorable. You talk about people being arrested with the importation of some arms into the country. Are these people employed?
You're coming in distorted, but if your question is if those who were arrested are employees of the LMP, no, they're not. My answer to that is throughout the investigation, it was established that there were no state actors involved, that is, people who work for government, whether in the security or in other roles of government, that were involved in the importation and distribution of those weapons. We did not establish that. However, there were 2 police officers who were dismissed, but those officers were dismissed not because they were a part of the importation and distribution, but rather because they broke their code of ethics as law enforcement officers and committed a crime during the search and seizure.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable, just before I go to the next panelist here, I'm in possession of the text posted by the former Finance Minister, Samuel Toye. In that text, which I'm going to read, he stated that he was contacted by the police. So let me read the text here. We welcomed the police investigation on a new government to independently re-establish facts in the death of our dear friend and brother Baten Yeswa, among other deaths that were politically weaponized. He goes on to say, of last Friday, I received a call from my brother, Councillor Toye, Norris Toye, who informed me that the police was interested in speaking with persons who were either friends with Baten, who may have been observed with him on the evening prior to his tragic incident, seen at his house, or who may have visited the JFK Memorial Hospital where he had been taken. Norris, according to Minister Toye, former Minister of Finance, continuing, Norris stated that he had already spoken with the police and encouraged me to do the same. He goes on in the next paragraph. On the morning of the incident, upon receiving a call from my brother, Norris, reporting the incident, I have called Dr. Wilhelmina Jara, the government's chief medical officer, and my brother Bill Twawet, who happens to be another close friend of Batten, to report the incident and that we were all headed at the JFK where Batten had been taken by Norris Twere now, his brother. Upon speaking to the police, I was released publicly and informed Avail. I become this moment of authority, truth telling and fact finding, so that the demons of lies, duplicity, and propagandists that have long bear our people over the last 6 years for political purposes can hopefully and finally be exonerated and laid to rest. Have you talked to Minister Twere, the former Minister of Finance? Did you talk to the former Minister Twere, Minister Twere?
Are you asking if I personally spoke to Minister Twere? Are you asking if I personally spoke to Minister Twere?
Yes. Can you confirm that Samuel Twere is saying that he named Bill Twere, he named his brother and others, with Amina Jara, who happens to be the former Minister of Health, in a post? Have you spoken to any of these people? Any of them? Have you spoken to any of them?
I'm the Inspector General of Police. I'm not the investigator. I speak.
The question is, Twere has confirmed that you spoke to him.
I am saying to you that I am the Inspector General of Police. I'm not the investigator. If Mr. Twere will contact anybody in this process, it will be the investigators. I mean, if he reaches out to me directly, I will honor the call and I will connect him to the investigators. However, I've never spoken to him. But I think the post that you read is one that shows that Mr. Twere will be cooperative with the investigation, and that we warmly welcome, because I mean he owes it to his friend as well. So let's all just cooperate. I can speak more because I mean his name as a person of interest. So let me not comment on anything that he says, but I just listen to what you read, and it speaks to some level of cooperation that we hope that this investigation will enjoy for all of those who have been named as persons of interest.
Okay, let's go to the Liberal. Liberal, Samson Branto, your second question.
Okay. Here, IG.
Liberal Samson Branto, your second question.
Yes, my second question to the IG. IG, thank you very much. Once again, that my line of questioning here tonight is a little bit different. Not that what the subject matter has been discussed that is not important. It is, but I trust those of you that are there to handle our daily affairs of the Republic are people credible to do these kinds of work. However, I will go back into my engineering confirm, which I'm much more comfortable discussing. The reason I'm keep asking these questions about you, the Minister of Public Work and the Adequate Transport Minister having a good relationship, because I believe when you guys work together and you are connected, have good relationship, it's easier to work. Now, one other thing that I noticed, Liberian police have always been called upon for reinforcement, called upon to carry out whatever issue they have with the public. I was wondering, though, that these people, the Public Works Ministry, the Transport Ministry, have they ever involved you and your police? I think he's gone. Okay, I will still go ahead and ask the question. Maybe he's listening. Have they ever involved you? Okay, I will still go ahead and ask the question.
He's with us. He's with us. He's just multitasking.
Whenever I go off, I'm just dealing
go
with
ahead
stuff, but I'm listening carefully.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I was wondering before they call you guys to go out and carry out punishment or removal or what have you. Have they ever come to you and your group to be part of because you stated that earlier, as being a community service type of people you guys want to do? Have they ever involved you at the initial stage of whether it be a removal process or whether it be a community engagement? Have they involved you in that to say, this is what public work ministry have intent, and this is what we want to go, and therefore we know that you have the ability to enforce the law, but we want you to help us engage the community so that when the enforcement time comes, the community members themselves will be aware of what is coming. Have you guys had that kind of conversation or engagement? And then the second question, it has to do with the yellow machine. Of course, they are yellow machine, they are earth moving machine, but what earth are they moving? They are moving earth for roads, for buildings and things like that. So those are things eventually will come back to your doorstep. So I was wondering, those who are bringing in the earth moving equipment, have they gotten you, the public works, the transport ministry, involved as well to say, we're bringing these things, these are what we intend to do with them, but at the end result, when we build a road, the police will be involved. And that's the line of question I'm trying to get from you. Have you been involved with any of these people at a higher level or even on the sub-level, whatever level you have?
Thank you, sir. Sir, may I ask, do you have an engineering background? You're muted.
I think D12, check that. I should be. Can you hear me? I can hear
yes,
myself.
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, I am a civil engineer, roadway engineer here in the state of California. I've been doing this for the last 30 some more years.
The passion is so clear in your voice, and I can hear you just resonating all of the approaches that you would take in on these kind of projects. And we're learning, we're getting there. Liberia is so special. I just love it. And your question is well in place, and all of these relationships we're cultivating will be strengthened over time. But like I said, we recognize the need for the collaborative support, and we sign an MOU. We do have officers even assigned to the Ministry of Public Works, specifically detailed for support to the Ministry of Public Works to provide the needed support when they're rolling out their task. So I share your concerns, and I've taken note of one step beyond. What I do not know is the level of community engagement that is being done while the support we're providing is being rolled out. So take, for instance, if we're called for support of a zoning activity, say we're going to open alleys, we show up. The team is there. We come to support the public work. And most times we meet resistance. Yes, we have to call for backup. But what is cardinal, is the fact that we have to now go one step beyond to find out whether there are consensus building and engagement and information shared with the community prior to some of these operations. And in some cases, yes, we do. But in the cases that we do, like I said, Liberia is so special, instead of them becoming cooperative, knowing that they're in the alley, they gather themselves to oppose to the opening of the alley. So it's a special case. So we will continue to encourage the Ministry of Public Works to incorporate as a part of the standing operating procedures that engagement with the community before the support is provided, so as to reduce the tension between the community and the engineers and the police when they go there to provide the needed support. As far as the yellow machines are concerned, I told you earlier, I don't have any civil engineers in my area, so my kind of yellow machines are not what you'll be referencing. So let's not go into that. So we we provide support for the actual yellow machines, and we make sure that they're able to work their ways around how they come in, what to do. I mean, that's not my part. I got too much to do to be concerned about iron yellow machines.
Thank you. The inspector is here to talk about police investigation, deterrence at its best. Let's now go to Dr. Lester. Lester?
Yes, RG. There are a couple of questions I have. The first one is, have you considered breaching the gender gap to include more females in your, I don't know, the upper echelon of the force, so that there will be some semblance of narrowing the gap between male and female in position of that level. The next thing has to do with the. I read that the Chinese has just empowered you people. Do you have existing capacity to use the forensic lab, or are there plans for you to ask the Chinese for assistance, where they will come on the ground, work with you people, and transfer valuable knowledge to your staff? The third question has to do with this Batin Yiswa case. I understand he has been buried. Will forensic examination go far as exhuming the body and using your newly acquired technology to ascertain the actual cause of death? Because what we don't know is that he fell, he was taken to the hospital alive, but what happened in the room to the time he was pronounced dead will require forensic investigation. Do you have existing capacity, or will you request assistance from outside, so that there will not be any suspicion that there was a botched case? Thank you.
Dr. Tini, thank you ever so much. The issue of the gender gap. When I was appointed as Inspector General of Police, I laid out the team sat at the table. We look at all of the existing issues with law enforcement in Liberia, which were very many, and we knew that we could not deal with all of them at once. But we decided to focus on just a bite size. And the areas that we looked at were the area of public safety, road safety, and gender mainstreaming. So yes, we are very concerned about it. As a matter of fact, our intent is to rebrand the culture of policing to make it community oriented, and to have more women in leadership, which is now ongoing at the Liberia National Police. We have more females coming online in different roles. And when the promotional board sits, when the policy management board sits, some of the things we'll be looking at will be the structure, which would now be addressing more issues that support community-oriented policing philosophy, which will create more opening for more opportunities for female at the top level of law enforcement. The forensic issue, do we have the necessary or the capacity to use this technology that has been given to us? Immediately, no. Are we going to ask the Chinese for help for training? I think we need to do small to our own. Yeah. So whatever little we got there, let at least start to train our people on our own too, and not just go bug them again. At least when they see us start to use it, and we go to ask them for something else, then at least they know that these people are serious. So we intend to utilize existing resources that we have to bring in consultancies. We've got one or two people come in on a pro bono basis. We've forwarded their names to the NSA for security clearances. For now, we're going to have the system as a standalone system, so as to not connect it to the internet, so we can keep our data safe until we bring in the right expertise that will be cleared by national security to understand the system better, create a training manual for our people so as to teach them how to be able to use it and how to even expand what they've given us. They've given us a base. How can we expand that base to make it even better? So yes, we have plans to do that. And to use the existing technology in the Barton SWAT case, this technology that has been given to us is not one that can be used in this case. This is just for a biometric data collection. So it's an electronic means of collecting fingerprints. If for any reason we're trying to establish whether it was Barton, I don't know which database we're going to cross-reference it with, maybe passport database, but I don't think that would be the case. I wouldn't presume how far the investigation will go or not. So if it reaches the point where the body has to be exhumed, it will be exhumed. But this technology has very limited part to play in supporting that investigation. Thank you. In supporting that investigation.
Thank you, Inspector General.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joining us, welcome to Nightline Liberia. My name is Difo Flomo. Tonight we have with us the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, the IG Gregory Comer. Patrick, your second question.
IG, I have a comment, and I'd like to bring this to your attention. And for some of us who have traveled and live in other countries where rule of law is not taken lightly, sometimes when I'm coming in the country and I see the actions of immigration officer at our port of entry, the Rabos International Airport, sometimes when I read the newspapers, I see the advertisement of various international jobs. When I visit some international NGOs or companies, we see foreigners in top positions. Honorable IG, it's important that you look at this critically. You mentioned about security clearance. In other countries, there are certain positions that require security clearance. I am assuming without admitting that it is possible that some of those individuals that come in our country to invest, they bring companies, they come as NGO, expatriate, chief of party, they might have committed crimes in their country, and perhaps they are disallowed to work in their countries, and they found another area where they can work and use their credentials. I would think that the Liberia National Police and that of the Liberia Immigration Services need to sit down and strategize that positions of high level or payment or positions that are considered for expert or key strategic positions or businesses or heads of institutions or companies operating here, they need to be properly vetted and they should be required to pay for security clearance so that you can do a follow background investigation in their home countries. For example, people who live in Europe or the United States, they have social security. So when somebody come in our country and say this person is an expert, they must be required to pay for security clearance. Let them give you their social security number, do a background check in the country they come from. If there is a reason that perhaps they have committed murder or raped someone or committed certain crimes, is still pending or they are being convicted, but they are working in Liberia, security clearance should not be given to them, and that will create an opportunity for all Liberians to compete. The issue of this driver's license issuance, I have sat and analyzed critically that the Ministry of Transport is issuing driver license, but at the same time, the police are the one that are regulating traffic. So one of the contributing factors why we see a lot of accidents taking place in this country, I think the responsibility that should have been given by the Liberia National Police has now been transferred to the Ministry of Post and or Ministry of Transport. The police should see the need to properly vet people who come here to say I'm a driver. They should be made to work with the public, that when you go for driver's license, you must be giving the driver's manual, study it good, take tests, and the police will carry you. Have the traffic control area, let them carry you for test drive.
Road test.
Road test.
Yes.
If you cannot pass the road test, you will not be allowed to be issued a driver license. Will reduce the risk of people, driving in a kind of way. Secondly, there are drivers in this country, they have bad records. I learned that you just launched a website. A driver that is fine, a driver that has consistently, violated traffic rules. Maybe I've had so many accidents. Place them on the website, because I don't think we reach to a level where we have social security, where we can monitor them. If you say this person is not allowed to drive, they are on the website. As soon as you catch them another time, they are going to jail. The third issue has to do, Honorable IG, your police, I'm sorry to say this, most of them are not properly dressed. They need police in simple English. The uniforms are old. When you see some of them, you see the image in the police uniform looking good, but the clothes on them make them for people to disrespect them. But at the same time, when you see high-ranking officers in the Liberia National Police, they are clean, brilliant uniform, good boots, they smell good. But the guys on the street, they are dirty, the boots are dirty, the police stations are dirty, and under the arrest agenda, it has rule of law. As an IG, I am begging your indulgence. I want you to go to His Excellency in Barcelona, Joseph Nyuma Boaka, and cry on him that, Papa, under the arrest agenda, you have rule of law. If the police are not properly dressed, you live in the US, you went to school there, I went to school there, the appearance of the police alone must serve as a form of communication that a rule of law is present and is about to take place. But when your police are dirty, no good shoe, even where they sit across the 15 political subdivision of the country, see one police depot, it is shameful, it is disheartening, it does not represent anywhere in the world that this is where justice is dispensed. So this is why corruption is all over the place. I want you to work with companies, corporate social responsibilities. Look at the Mega Steel, for example. In Nimba, can you please renovate at least 5 police stations? RG, I'm sure if you were a police officer, you would not say in some depot. And I know you to be a Harvard trained, a man of quality. I want you to put aside certain thing and be very clear with the president to say, man, or Mr. President, Papa, I'm begging you. Extend your tentacles, because if these things are not done, it's a problem. Lastly, I want you to also emphasize on this issue of logistics. I saw the police vehicles. I thought that, it was a little America. I don't know whether it's almost like the, and I need clarity on the IG. I don't know whether it's almost like a yellow machine kind of negotiation, or whether it was a donation. I want you. Yeah, I said the IG is here. Thank God you're not in studio. Maybe I will have been intimidated somehow. But I want to know, IG, whether this was a donation or you have your good friends. If this were a donation, I want to congratulate you. You are working hard to ensure that the police are reformed. I'm not saying you are not doing a good job, but these are problems that have been in existence even before you were there. So we need to address this issue. Thank you so much.
That's a low level one for the Inspector General.
Yeah, what you expect of a scorpion? You come with all of these cumbersome questions all in one, but we got to take our time here now to decipher it and say something for the people to understand. But Mr. Patrick, I want to thank you. The clearance of experts, you're on the money, 100%. The police can do so much and no more. Some of these things will require legislation, and some of them require uh, simple mutual collaboration and cooperation between agencies. I believe that if we have people coming in our country and the Ministry of Labor is going to be clearing them to grant them work permit, I think a key thing, a key component of it, and I took note of that right now, and I will reach out to the Minister of Labor tomorrow, is that these people must be cleared by the police, because we have to do background checks on these people coming into our country. But today, that is not in existence. And I want to thank you for raising the issue. And I will explore the legal possibilities of doing that so that it can be incorporated in the steps of having expats clear for work in Liberia. And this issue borders on national security. If you follow the trend of most of these civil disturbances in concession areas, people are complaining about jobs for locals that expats are involved with. So, I mean, it's something that we should be concerned about. I mean, so if we're clearing people for jobs, we're not at the Bureau of Concessions, but at least we should know that who is this person coming, what job is he coming to do, and be able to appropriately advise the Ministry of Labor, because if these are roles and positions that the expertise exists here for, I think Liberians should be given the first priority. So I take your comment very seriously, and I will make a follow-up with the Minister of Labor on this. You can reach my DM. We exchange information for direct communication. And when I do have a feedback about this, I will definitely get back to you. As it relates to the issue of
Thank you. When I go to
no, the man asked 10,000
because we're gonna be. No,
So
go
you
ahead,
asked-
Aji.
You asked about the dirty uniform and the dirty.
Go ahead. Let it.
You see some of these things. I mean, before you even attack the IG about it, the budget is an open document. Pick it up, read. Go there. If you see $1 on the line for uniform, come back and ask me. If you see the amount for civil works to cover renovation for these depots, come back and then we'll have a conversation. I will say no further. But we are engaging. We're using our corporate social skills to ask people to come in and help. If you come, you will see some of these areas that are not even budgeted for the level of work we've done around them. We're committed to the process. We didn't even have covering for raincoats. The officers are now receiving raincoats to be able to support their work through the rainy season. So, I mean, this government took over, and things ran really fast. It's my hope that the next budget year will have more say in giving information and sharing the need. And I'm not going to present a bare bone budget. I'm going to present a budget that speaks to the 5-year strategic plan that's being developed. And the budget will cover every activity that we need to carry out throughout the year. And it's going to be left with the decision makers to decide which ones we should do and which ones we shouldn't. And then if you want to script it, a bare bone, whatever you give, we manage it. So we're managing whatever we're given. The officers are taught basic hygiene. Most of the officers that you see look spick and span, they basically purchase their own uniform. I'm going to say that to you here openly. Most of the officers, 90% of the officers that you see in the mire, even the officers on the road, some of them do purchase their own uniform because it's their everyday clothes. And they represent their families out there beyond the Liberia National Police. So they go beyond the call of duty to be able to even purchase their own uniforms, which should not be. But this is the case. This is where we are. This is the commitment to service that they're exhibiting on a daily basis. And for those dirty stations that you're referencing, the commanders there, most of the time, they're the ones who dip their hands in the pocket to provide stuff to even make it somewhat presentable. Whatever you see is whatever they can afford and whatever the budget supports. Sometimes we should go beyond just the words. Your contribution here today is to call us to book. But how can we all, apart from calling us to book, contribute one way or the other for the advancement of society to be able to help in different ways? We accept the the alert for how we look, how we smell. But let's all support in different ways. This is your way of supporting, calling it a book now. The general public has the information, and it is my hope that people who are hearing you today, fellow Scorpion, will come to that call and assist the Liberian National Police as their contribution towards the advancement of society. There are challenges, real-time challenges, real-life challenges that officers are faced with and that the organization itself faces. We try to make it seem easy as we go, but honestly, it's not. I got up 4:30 this morning, got involved with police operations. Here I am. It's 9:36. The hours that we put into this to make it look like what you see, seamless effort, it's a lot. It's a lot. So we're not there. We're hoping that things will get better. We're hoping that government will give us more support to be able to improve our service delivery. And the issue of driver's license, the Ministry of Transport has that a role right now. Before the driver's license were issued right there at the Liberia National Police headquarters, there was testing and everything. It is our hope that this particular issue, I mean, government is looking into it right now. The police is one party. The Ministry of Transport is another party. Those who have been given the concession is, I mean, a party to this as well. So let me not speak on what I think it should be and let the government reach a conclusion on how this matter should be handled in the next few weeks or months, so that we can improve our delivery. I think I've unpacked your question, and I would like to stop here. Delivery. I think I've unpacked your question.
Yes, you actually unpack all of the questions there. Cesar Guia, go ahead. Your second question.
Thank you. Before today, I've heard a lot of. By the way, how many scorpions are in Liberia? We need to count those things and see if they are endangered. But by the way, before meeting you today, IG, I've heard a lot about you from your fellow students from Cottonton, and I must say I'm impressed by your ability to answer questions and the way you do. You don't BS. What you don't know, you don't know. You take that on advice, man. I really prefer. I like that, because a lot of people try to speak to things that they don't know and they put themselves in trouble. You spoke when you answered my question earlier about the Youth Advisory Board, and I must say thank you. As an educator, one of the things that we do here is, even when we write curriculum, we get student voice at the table, because they're the one the curriculum is going to happen to. So having your voice at the table and advising you, I think is wonderful. I want to say that is immense. Most people might not see the criticality of that, but that is very, very critical. And I want to say thank you for thinking about that. Now, my question to you is, you talked about data when you talked about the yellow machine earlier, and I want to bring my own yellow machine question to you, which is about the education piece. And so my question to you is,
Is that the minister of?
No, that the regular yellow machine, a different kind of yellow machine, and it's data. My yellow machine is data, right? Does the Liberia National Police have a way, or the capacity, or the ability to collect, condense, disseminate crimes data around school-based crimes? Because I'm heavily focused on education, like I said from the beginning, and I'm talking about, how does the Liberia National Police deal with school-based crimes? It can be anything from alleged robbery to sexual assault and sexual exploitation. How do you collect those? How do you train your police officers on how they interact with those? And who, if anybody or any agency of government, do you share those data with, so that there are support created around our scholars that go to school? The last piece I want to put out here is, because you did ask about that when you responded to Vandalek's question, is, are you, as a Liberia National Police, using, or do you intend to use unmanned aerial vehicles? So I'm talking drones, because you can't be everywhere at every time. You talk about having a force of a little over 5,000. You can't cover every space at every time. have you considered the use of deploying unmanned area vehicles? And you asked Vandela to talk about his contribution. I here in the state of Minnesota have trained Brooklyn Center Police Department in how to utilize their drones. I'm also an electrical engineer. I would be willing to say that some of us can take the time to come back to Liberia and help in that effort if you do have the unmanned vehicles and you just need folks to train the Liberia National Police on how to utilize that to collect data and collect surveillance.
Mr. Educator, thank you. Your passion. I mean, the one real thing about this show. I mean, people are passionate about whatever they're involved with, and that is so clear. Thank you, Cizzy. The collection of data on school-based crimes, that's non-existent. We do have a crime statistics database that collect general crimes, but nothing specific to school-based violent crimes. So, as part of our project to engage schools, when we start to go into school with educational program and establish the youth advisory board, this is something that we could train some of the young people in the different schools, give them the tablets to be able to work with school administration to capture some of these crimes and share them with us. And then the data is just added to our database, but then the likes of people like you, Cizzy, who have a vast understanding and interpretation of this kind of data can now come in to help us to see how can we make sense of this and apply necessary policy address operating procedures to be able to combat some of those crimes. So I've taken note of it, and we will include it in our program. The deployment of drones to help us. We've been in conversation with different partners, and I'm sure some of them are listening. We have few test drones that have been out at rush and peak hours, but I mean nothing near what we're looking at from the programming perspective. It's just basically a test to have a presence in certain areas. But yes, we're engaging on a smart city project. The planning is in progress. We don't even have the funding. We don't know where it's going to come from, but we have the experts now looking into it. We've engaged a local company here. We've engaged an international company as well to come in and look at it and advise us appropriately to cover from the border points to the major cities with different cameras at different intersections and different places as well. And also the integration of cameras in personal spaces into our network as soon as we can do that as well. I think that answers it.
Tiflo, you are muted.
Before we go to Lester here, for him to give us his closing, a parting statement, I have this question. You know, some of us that live outside of this country with the blessing of the Almighty to leave this country and travel outside of this country, we have a whole lot of things to bring back to this country that can help to fight crimes. In the United States and other places where I spent more than 2 decades living, school, there's one of the things that the police would do in a city is wanted by the police. In our country, since I left this country, when I come back home,
1 minute break.
I don't see anything like.
Can I take a 1 minute break, please?
Sure. Yes, we can do that. We can basically just play the theme song while the RG is Oh, well, let's take a call while the RG is away, right?
Tonight, right.
It's the best time to take a call for RG. So let's now go to the line. We should take call, Thomas?
Yeah.
We should take call right now, T. Thomas?
We missed the time. Yeah.
Yeah, let me okay. Okay, let's now. It's the opportunity for us to come and have our people to participate into this discussion tonight. So the number to call to be a participant and have a say here is 07772-876-481. That's 0772-876-481. It's the opportunity is yours for you to. Let's take this. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Hello, go ahead. Your name and where you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from the borough of Newtown.
Speak to us.
And happen to be Mrs. Georgia Kimbaya, the president of the Federation of Borough Women.
Welcome to the show.
First of all,
Speak.
Go ahead. Don't listen to yourself when you speak. Mute your device that you're listening to. Use just turn the device down.
I would love to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to all the Ghanaian men and women who run their professionalism services to enhance our country 2023 peaceful general election. And I also like to say to the IG that I would like to extend my thanks to the IG for dignifying the late Mr. Charles B. Fonfoki grave located in the borough of Newtown, who happened to be the founding member of the National Police. Now, concerning the reawakening of the case alleged that the late fellow fell from the balcony of his home is overwhelming. Thank you very much, RG. I pray that oh God.
Okay, thanks for your participation. Let's take the next caller. Caller, your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello? Okay, the number is 0772. That's 0772-876. Let's take that caller. Caller, your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, good evening. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. Okay, my name is A.B. Laurenti Tupa, and I'm calling from District 16 as well.
Your question or your comment?
Let me say hi to the RG and that of my dear brother in the studio, VB. Okay, according to the concern that was raised by VP prior to the RG response, I just want to at least add up to that and let RG address it. In the first place there, in criminal investigation, there's something called criminal profiling. Where in the case that when I accuse come before the law and we do his booking, the RG knows about that. When after his booking, the preliminary investigation and whether the case will be filed at the court, and the liaison when the police with the court there will be filing a case if the person is found guilty. That information will mean that has the person criminal history. If the man is acquitted, the court also communicate the police, then the police perhaps material information. And this software here is very similar to the same software the banks uses here, the rural banks. And our software, it will be around 85 to 100,000. We have done research on that. And the IG knew the importance of the 3I criminal investigation. So for me, I want to recommend that IG look at that. It will not be a year project, but it is very necessary. It will help criminal investigation. It will help that when John Brown commits a crime in Liquid Town and John Brown flees to Lima County, if he commits another crime, the moment he appears before the child court and do a fingerprint and call his name, a file will open. The right investigator will know exactly he did it when he received this. That alone is very helpful. Then lastly, we talk about the police appearance. According to Sarapi, the father of Mori policing, on the 12th principle of Mori policing, it says good appearance demands respect. Trust me. Some of our company we see wearing police uniform, for some of us it discourages a lot. Police is a very unique professional field of study. But 85% of the agents you see in the national police is like they are sure any other places in society there is no insult. You say, let me go there, go to police.
Okay, thank you. Let's take the next caller. Caller, your name and where you join us from? Your name and where you join us from? Hello? Your name and where you join us from? Hello? Please lower your device. Your name and wait. Hello, caller. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, your name and where you join us from? Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's take the next one. That caller seems not be paying attention to his device. Hello, caller.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Your name and where you join us from? Hello? Your phone. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Your name and where are you calling from? You are not audible enough.
I want to thank the IG for the response. As anything I want to address to the IG that really bother me at times.
30 seconds.
Our friends in the police. I noticed something about our national police on the street. Most especially the driver and the motorcyclist. They're picking money from there too much. Too much. Even IG, I want you to take upon yourself, disguise yourself. A car red open phone coming, going all the way to St. Bridge. You see what is going on. Even our international people, when they come in the country, when they see people doing that, I think it's a disgrace of our national police. I can see it on the almost they can be in the commotion. So, Honorable IG, I want you to take upon yourself by disguising yourself and come and see what's going on the field at times. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's take the next caller. Caller, your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Thank you. Let's take the next caller. Caller, your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yes, I'm Dennis Mayor at W from Timothy.
Go ahead.
Yes, let me thank your I don't call him
the studio guest.
Let me say thank to the RD, and that's the thing that I want to recommend the RD. These are officers that can be to the checkpoint. For me, are most work Nima. They all officers that can be to the checkpoint. They are not doing their proper work. So I beg in the RD, let him take a point in time and visit them. They when you want to go with car in the net, they will stop the car. Instead of they can and check what all in the car they will not do it. You're getting 300, 400, they how to call trap again your pass, which is not fair. They need to what all in the car, what all the is traveling in the net. They'll reach to the checkpoint and just get them 200, 300, they will trap it. checkpoint. Secondly, I want to thank the RD to Ned for him to make himself available to Ned in your studio for people to able to talk to him. I want to appreciate him, thank him. Secondly, again, I want to say is the case of Princess Kopo case, when he can bring the other case up, we beg him, let him try and see for the Princess and Kopo case too. So very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your participation. Let's take the next caller. Caller, good evening. And where are you joining us from? Hello? Hello? Hello, caller?
Yeah, hello?
Good evening. Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm Elijah Johnson calling from Doe Community.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate the RG. Actually, we are seeing some differences, even though it is not 100%, but we are seeing some difference. I was speaking to I'm an NGO driver. You know, sometimes when you're driving the expert, then you're going out of the city, you're going out and you're waiting on the checkpoint and waiting for the other car to be processed by the police. And the police don't even know who the expert in that car. There's some 4 or 5 cars in between. And I mean, the expert, they will be looking at the police directly and they will just go closer to the driver and collect the money. And no expert will be asking you, what are they doing? Are they taking back? You can be so embarrassed to answer there, you know. They will tell you, but you have to answer, oh, this is the police. I say, well, I don't know, maybe they are taking something from the driver. You know, what is that? What is that? So the expert need to, the RG need to do more. He is doing actually well, but let him try to at least step up the game to change our police completely. Sometimes we can really be embarrassed. Thank you.
Thank you. Caller, you can also follow us, fellow Liberians at home and abroad. You can follow this program on LNTV as well. It's live on LNTV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as, again, LNTV. That's the Liberia Broadcasting Television or National Broadcasting of the Republic of Liberia. Let's take the next caller. Caller, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Noah Zau Gibson.
Hey, Minister Noah Zau Gibson. How you doing, my brother?
I'm okay. I want to say happy 26th.
My man, when you coming to the show? When you coming to the show?
The show is, I can tell you, consider me one of your panelists already.
Okay.
Mr. Gibson, a pleasant good evening to you, sir.
That's a rebirth of what we used to do on Strong FM.
Good evening to you, sir.
You know.
The RG say good evening to you. He say good evening to you.
But that man didn't have call on the show. That man, anywhere that man appear, he was just my support. And I'm not saying this because, he works for the government that I work for. But the new graduate common, it shows that you're speaking of icon of integrity. The short time, Mr. Kumo took over the police prior to the immediate past regime coming. You could see that the police were getting an outstanding transformation, except that later on, because of regime change, he left. But look at the less than 6 months he's taking over. You see the police, some level of neatness, in the absence of logistics, not being there, inadequate logistics, and all of us that are commending him and also offering some challenges and recommendations, we need to challenge the lawmakers, those who dish out the food, because the executive prepares the budget and the lawmaker makes the appropriation. So we need to challenge our lawmakers of the various districts to make sure that the police receive more budget, because the Sokoma wants to work, but his hands are tied. His hands are tied. You see, recently he just left the country. He went out of the country and he went to do a lot of lobbying, and we see the dividend of his being out of the country. This man will transform this police. I have explicit confidence in him, no doubt. But let me conclude on this note.
Please do.
Attend him lately. Did I hear that he about to open the case of the auditors. Did I hear so?
Yes, he's about to open the case of
but
then as well.
Long live. I wish you would live forever for doing that.
Long live Gregory Coma and the Liberia National Police.
I wish you well, and we want justice. The family of these people will be rejoicing, and let us know how those people were killed, who killed them, and thank you ever so much. You have never done anything. I think this is going to be the best. Thank you ever so much, Mr. Coma.
Thank you, and thanks for your participation. Noah's Augustine. Let's take the next caller.
So I think a lot has
been said. Good evening, caller. Are you there? Good evening.
So I think a lot has been said.
Let's take the last one, Chief. Go ahead, caller. Name where you join us from. Hello, caller. Good evening. Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ernest, but I was speaking for New Montana Estate.
Go ahead, my brother.
No, Mr. Kuma, I really appreciate the way of explaining things to us. In the first place, what all the men was talking about, you told him yes. And myself, I hear what I'm not doing. If you are giving me the good advice, let's get back. I want to say, cheese. The drivers are in Liberia here. Many of them don't even have your car driving lesson. They drive the way they feel. And sometimes when they make accident, they go by their way. So I very much appreciate that if you get on your knee, you get behind your friends. Even that, I will recommend to you to even tell the government so that you can employ more police. Every district should have their police headquarters. Because the criminals are too much on us, in and out we can sleep. And then like Matare here, we look up to AC, but no, there are more. Then we have one station. In the center of Matare here, the new Matare, you will see things will go on different. Let's try to fight the criminals, let them leave the city. The city is too large.
Thank you. Let's.
One place, because police are not there.
Thank you.
In the morning for them to see each other.
Thank you. Let's take the last one,
Thank
and then we cross over to the Inspector General of Police, who has been very, very nice, especially when we just gave him a short notice, and he was like, D-Flow, I'll be with you guys tonight. Let's take the last caller there. Caller, your name and where you join us from. Hello. Please lower your device. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Your name and where you join us from?
I'm Maye calling from Fendia.
Go ahead, Maye. The inspector is listening.
I'm a classroom teacher. I take car from Fendia to red light before getting to where I'm supposed to go. But I want to recommend something to the Archie.
Go ahead.
Archie is really doing his work. But the bosses, some of us, we are classroom teachers, we're not able to afford title fare. We use the buses to go in town. But those buses can come with seats. But the buses, who are bringing the buses in the country can take away all the seats and replace it with so iron seats. So for that, God forbid, when accident occurs, that can lead to the death of people in the accident that you're hearing here. So I want to recommend the RG to step in the process to see how best the buses that will come in the country should maintain their seat.
Thank you. Thanks for your participation. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who join us, we want to say, just before I cross over to the RG and then close up from our end here, our team tonight, we have Mervyn Stewart, Yasa Zuba, Fabian Kuya, and our great panelists here. So, RG?
Yes, I'm here.
Mic is open. Inspector General?
Inspector General is right here.
Your people have just taken their time listening to you for almost 2 hours. go ahead. They have said some of them, they believe, and I also believe, that you are in the right position and for the right job. I have no doubt in your perfection. You are the right person to head that institution. So
So it is with all grace and humility that I accept the kind words that have been said here tonight. And I accept it on behalf of the men and women of the Liberia National Police. All of this that's being said tonight would not be possible if they did not wake up early mornings to get up and ensure that we put measures in place to keep the state safe. I take zero credit whatsoever. All praise and honor to God, and most especially the thanks and appreciation goes to the men and women of the Liberia National Police. I want to thank them for the support that they have given, to allow me to serve as a leader for that noble institution, and the results you're seeing come from them. I'll go straight to the issue that our mother addressed just now, as a school teacher who rides on a bus to come to town on a daily basis. It is unfair. People cheat and defraud government in so many different ways. When we speak about corruption, we only look at it from the standpoint of public service. But if we start to break it down point by point and understand it and call it out for what it is, you will find it in each and every fabric of the society. You go to the Ministry of Transport, you pay for the registration of an 18-seater bus. Pay your taxes. They give you the registration. You go and convert the bus to a 30-seater, creating complete discomfort and a safety hazard. Ma'am, I hear you. I feel your pain. I empathize with your concerns. This will become a priority issue for us. When we talk about safety of our people, the first thing we started to deal with the motorcycles, and because of their vulnerability. But this is another area of vulnerability you just brought to light. I hope my people are listening, my operational guides, because this particular issue has to be addressed. If you pay for 18-seater, we'll make sure you have 18 persons in that bus. So, ma'am, we hear you. We hear your concerns legitimately. I mean, someone also mentioned the fact about, I think 2 or 3 persons talk about the extortion. I promise to be very fair and sincere and not to cover up the wrong. The organization belongs to you, the Liberian people. So we shouldn't hide the ills from you. We should be truthful about our every dealing so that you all can support us in different regards to make sure that we correct these wrongs. So if I start to cover up some of these things, I don't think I'm doing you justice to correct them. 3 days ago, I was on my way to work at about 5:30 a.m. I drove to the checkpoint. I stayed in the line, no lights on, nothing, and car after car. I followed right behind a taxi, and the driver ahead of me was overloaded. His rear view was completely obstructed, which warranted a ticket. The officer at the checkpoint pushed his hand in the vehicle and pulled it back with something in it. He used my light, the light of my vehicle, to verify what had been given him. And then he squeezed his hand. The next vehicle, I rolled up on him. I told him, I said, give me your hand. He gave me the other hand. When I said, give me the other hand, he switched it and gave me the other hand. So I said, put both hands up. When he put both hands up, under his towel in his hand was 50 Liberian dollars. 50 Liberian dollars. Extortion is real. I know we all look at it from different angles. I feel bad for the fact that the salaries of the officers cannot meet their physiological need, but the abuse of authority is just uprightly wrong. That officer was immediately disrobed and turned over to the professional standards. The next day, at a completely different point, the Deputy Inspector General of Police for Operations was on his way to work. The exact occurrence, same amount, with another officer. So your complaint is 100% legitimate. I hear you all. There are bad apples. We will weed them out. In the same vein, I'm asking for support for our officers in every way. I can never use the issue of low salaries to justify this, but I will use it to hold them more accountable. More accountable. Because you reduce the vulnerability, you reduce the risk of them carrying out these acts. Bribery and extortion, yes, they still do exist. However, the police is led by a committed team to ensure that we restore trust and dignity. So we hear you all. We acknowledge that there are problems, and we will work through. The officers are working exceedingly hard. There are bad apples among us, and we'll weed them out. Thank you.
Thank you, Inspector General Gregory Commandant, who took up his time to double tax here tonight for his nation. Let's see if we can go to Patrick. Patrick?
Yeah, my parting comment, right?
Yeah, the director was only asked, he agreed to be.
Yeah. So quickly, I have some meetings coming up, but I think the show has already ended. Thank you, RG. And I have no doubt that you will perform beyond expectation. And I'm very grateful that you are back within the Liberian National Police. Our criticisms are constructive. It is meant to ensure that the one who enforces the law also live by the law. And but a few recommendations before I leave. I know the police is challenged. It is important to sit, to strategize, to identify institutions, international organizations, corporate entities, banking institutions, embassies here. RG, we have reached to a point where I think no man is an island. You are doing a very great job, as evident by the callers. People are appreciating you, want you to continue your work. But the challenges faced by the police, I would like to emphasize. There's this statement, they say, if you are the rule in the house, they will always give you the money to keep. They say, you are the one, keep our money. Because when they hide it somewhere, you may take it from them. Let's try to identify some of you. I know you are doing that, but I want you to increase the number. To identify some of those men and women within the force. When they are doing a good job, have people to profile them. And form partnerships. That every month, maybe we can recognize them. People will give them, appreciation. It can be in cash. It can be in kind. As a way of motivating them. In other countries, you see them on the news. When the police save life, you see them, they are celebrated. They are put on front page stories of the newspapers. Work with the media institution. Police officer of the month. Or any kind of critical thing a police officer does. Let us appreciate them. Because the more we appreciate them for doing the right thing, even in the midst of the difficulties, they can brave the storm to do what is right. Other people will emulate their example. And in closing, I want to emphasize again, Liberia is gradually moving towards, a different level. Like the president said, business will not be as usual. Same business will not be as usual. I want you to look into the recommendations I proffer. That will help us because we want to be free of crime. I'm not trying to stigmatize, foreigners who are coming in this country. But when we leave from here, we are subjected to a very thorough background check before we get visa to go to Canada and Europe. Even when we go there, they are saying how many times I was denied jobs in the United States. They say I was not qualified to get security clearance. So it hurts. So people coming here, we need to do a background investigation. That is to deter people from committing crimes in other countries to come here and work here where nobody knows what they are doing. As you said, you are going to take this thing to the Minister of Labor. I know the Labor Minister is going to be working in line. I am standing by to proffer recommendations. Again, I am an activist, so I speak from my heart. I don't speak from my lips. Again, let me say congratulations, and we're looking forward to seeing you improving the Liberia National Police. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's now go to Thomas for his closing before we go to.
Hey, I wouldn't
Thomas, do you
want
have
to,
a question, or you just
waste
want
our
to make a
time. We already
recommendation to
had
the IG
enough.
before he
Just
can?
want to thank the IG. Great job. And crime prevention is where I will, recommend you put in more resources, from the border entry. I'm speaking in terms of immigrants. If you can put you can put measures in place to ensure that these people that are coming, they are, recorded, that we have a complete profile of these people, where they come from, their background, whether they are criminals or not. And when they enter the country, how we can track their movement, what they do, their legal status, and all of that will be good. But thank you so far. Thank you. You are doing a good job. Legal status and all of that will be good. But thank you so far. Thank you. You are doing a good job.
And when you put the right person to the right position, the results will be just what the public is giving the Inspector General tonight. Let's now go to the mayor from Minneapolis there. Guia.
In closing, I think Vandelak spoke a lot, and I kind of want to echo a lot of those, except for the part about America and jobs and stuff. I happen to be an immigrant from Liberia, and I'm director of Mafia in Minneapolis Public School, so I haven't faced that. But I'm not going to try to undermine what he said he faced. Director Coleman, I want to say thank you. Like I said, I'm leaving this interview a lot more impressed about you than I came into this interview, because I've heard a lot of other Scorpions talk about. And by the way, Larry Vinci wanted me to say hi to you, because if I don't do that, he and Ivo Ben, they've been behind me, so I gotta say I should tell you hello. They have a lot of stories according to them.
Quick.
Yeah. And they need to tell the minister, they got plenty of story that will fit me in on it,
But y'all Minnesota, I'm trying to post. Why you guys can't try to get lay uniform for the Liberia National Police, man?
Right, and that's the thing. That's why I'm coming to that. Recently, the Pommican Association in America donated some materials to the Liberia National Police. My question to you, Inspector Coleman, is that
Musa was here.
Yes. What are you doing to not only cultivate those relationships, but to sustain them? There are a lot of Liberians in America that have a lot of access to power that can be able to do some of these things. So my question, and I don't need an answer right now online, but I hope you think about when those relationships are cultivated, what do you do intentionally to ensure that they are sustained? When those relationships are cultivated, what do you do intentionally to ensure that they are sustained?
Okay, so let's go to labor from there. The director will just package the whole thing. The Inspector General packaging labor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Director General IG. Thank you very much. I think I explained the flag situation to you already. I'm not a justice team member yet, so I really want to get that point clear that I'm not trying to impersonate, any kind of position. So, no, but on a very serious note, so I also have my own show, but
the liberal, you forgot to tell the person you are a staunch supporter of the president.
Of course, I am. Of course. That nothing going to take
liberal
that away from me. Can you hear me?
Hey, you didn't tell the public that tonight. They're waiting for hear that word. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you.
You know that, right? No, but I'm very serious. No, yeah, I am a supporter of President Baka because
Yeah.
But director, what I want to say is that I have my own show, and sometimes we come out. Those of us that don't know you guys that well, we tend to speak to issue that perhaps we think we know, but sometimes it's not the case. But listening to you tonight, I feel bad because the life of Director Koma, you can go any part of the world and make decent living, but yet still you're in Liberia for the second time. Your situation is much more, for me, it's much more sympathetic than anything else because you were there before. You experienced the hardship, but then when it called you went back. What can we say? But the Liberian people tonight was telling you how good you are and how good things you're doing over there. The reason why I was focusing on the engineering issue here, yeah, I'm an engineer, but that does not mean that I have to say I'm an engineer. No. But young kids, about 12 or 15 years old, that got killed about a year and a half ago. They built these wall and put what Liberian people call steel rods. And these steel rods stick it up. You put cap on it. But don't. The young man fell off of a coconut tree, and one of the steel rods pierced his brain, crushes his skull. And before that, I need to talk about it. So I'm hoping that if you have a good relationship with the Minister of Transport, you guys most likely of a good relationship will be able to come up with a policy that will be helpful for our people. The first come in there, you're going to be responsible as the police to enforce what are they going to do, the weight of anything. But they have to get you involved from day one. They can't come in and say, okay, now it's time to enforce the law. Let's get the police. No, for me, that's not how it works. The police should be part of the process from the beginning. So when he brings his people on board, they know exactly what to expect. So I hope that you guys are considered the founding father now. Please do your best to make sure Liberia comes out on top. We will be here to promote whatever idea you guys have for those who are listening to us and things like that, to promote them because those are beautiful ideas. And President Baka will not bring anybody on board who is not fitting to do a job. Thank you very much for tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope this is not going to be the last time either. Thank you.
Thank you very much for tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope this is not going to be the last time either. Thank you.
Okay, Inspector General, your parting comment. Inspector General?
First and foremost, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your support tonight, the kind words, taking out of your time to be here with us to get the message of the Liberia National Police out to the people. The Liberia National Police is the people's police, and we are at your service. The officers who you see on the street day to day, trust me, they go beyond the call to duty. These are people who make ultimate sacrifices. They are not the best. They're what we have. And we can make them the best if we all hold and support them and invest in them. But I can tell you, I mean, there are people who just have given their lives out just to support law enforcement in this country. I am the Inspector General. I'm honored to be here to serve the Liberia National Police at this point in time. This job comes with a lot of responsibility. I wore this uniform today at 6:30 a.m. I was out of the door by 6:45. It's 10:24. I'm still in it. This speaks to the number of hours that we have to put into this thing to make it look like what it is right now. And it requires even more to get us to where we're going. I know we have our own challenges. I know we have our own problems, but I want people to begin to appreciate the sacrifices of these people. They're real people. They're parents. They're family men. The sacrifices they make for you, you may not see it, you may not appreciate it until one day when you have that need. appreciate them now before the need arises. The police, we're going to be, I'm going to use this opportunity to put this out to the public. We're honored to have visiting us the former chief of Minneapolis, Chief Medario Arredondo. He will be the guest of the Liberia National Police. He's flying in from Minnesota to Monrovia on the 29th of this month. He will hold training for senior leadership of the police, and he will visit few government officials. But most importantly, for the first time, Chief Arredondo will be speaking out on the George Floyd situation publicly here in Liberia. He's going to give detailed account of the entire event, his role as leader of the Minneapolis Police Department, how it strengthens community, how it's important to have a strengthening relationship with the community, lessons learned, and he's going to be showing different footages that the world have never seen before. The invitation is out there for those who can reach out to be a part of this event. I think it's something that people will want to hear. But I mean, this is just the police way of saying that we're not stopping. We're looking out for help. We're calling on to people who have the experience, who have managed real life crisis, coming in to support us. So once again, thanks to this entire crew, thanks to the management and staff of the Liberia broadcasting system, and to each and every one of you from various parts of the world that have just chosen to make your contributions here tonight. The men and women of the Liberia National Police appreciate you, and we are continually at your service. Thank you. And we are continually at your service. Thank you.
On behalf of the management, headed by Honorable Eugene Lamy Fagan, I want to say thank you, Honorable Inspector, for taking this moment, your time of your duty to be with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, with that said, I don't know whether we have to do a little bit talking, or we just close it up, right? I think we have done our share here.
I
Honorable
think
Gregory
it
Coleman
would
was
be good
able
for us
to
to cut it a
accept
day.
us well, the dinner for the night on the talking line.
It would be good for us to cut it a day.
Yes, I think we absorb everything on the table here. So, Honorable Coleman, thank you very much, and we hope to see you when the time is available again.
Okay.
Take it. Then you play the team. So no, leave them there. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those who just joining us, good night to you.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipma, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zumatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there's nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I asked all of you, representatives of our people, to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, Love Liberia and build life.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday.